Tab views in SwiftUI are often underrated because they seem too simple at first glance, but that simplicity hides powerful capabilities. Many developers overlook them as just basic navigation tools, yet they offer seamless state management, deep integration with SwiftUI's lifecycle, and a polished native feel with minimal effort. In this video, I will walk you through step-by-step how to fully unlock the potential of TabView, from setup to customization, so you can create intuitive, beautiful app navigations with ease. And if you want to join SwiftUI Camp for only $199, go ahead and check out the discounted link in the description. More on this later in the video. Now today, I am going to talk about tab views, how to create them, how to use them, how to manage them. And for that, I have created this demo project, which you can see right over here. And I have just a few views like archer view, baseball view, and curling view. Let me just walk you through. It's just an image of archery, baseball, and curling. Okay, so let's go to our content view and start creating our tab view. So I'm going to remove all of this stuff. And let's just have a tab view. And as you can see, there are multiple instances. There's a selection and one with just the content. Let's just go with the selection, and we are going to iterate on the selection a lot this tutorial, so make sure to check out the whole video. But for now, it's just going to be a simple int value. So it's a binding of selection value, and let's create a state variable, state private var. Let's just selected tab index. That's just perfectly fine, and we are just going to bind it $ selected tab index, and then the content. Let me just see if our canvas will work right now. I just have a little bit more space and click on resume over there. Otherwise, we're just going to use the simulator, but it should work just fine. So now we have this tab view. The tab view is a container view. So we may, or we actually should add these tabs into it. It's like a vertical stack or a Z stack or a group. It's a container. We add items into it. So our first one would be our archery view. And it's simple as that. Let's just see this. I'm just going to build and run. Let me just remove the canvas and select iPhone 16 Pro. That's fine. Build and run. Build has succeeded. That's always a good sign. And now let's see this archer view in the simulator. Here we go. Really nice. All right. So let's add a few more. So we have, let me just double check over there. We have the baseball view and the curling view. Okay. So baseball view and curling view. Let's build and run once more, and let's see what has changed. Basically, we will see that nothing has changed, but if we click over here, I don't know if you can see the mouse, I'm hovering right over here. Let's just click over there. It just changed to the baseball view. And if I click over here, where I'm hovering right over there, it's the curling view. So we have kind of these invisible buttons right over here. What actually we have is the tab view, but we didn't set it up just yet. So we have the containing views inside the tab view, but we still need to add some more setup. So we need to add dot tab item, and we are just going to go for the label for now. Let's just have an image. Yeah, I'm going to go and have the image, system named image. Let's jump to definition, and let me just copy this one out, go back. Let's just have that over there. Okay, just for now, this is the first one. Let's just see what we have over here. So there we go, building and running. And we have this figure.archery system image name right over here. If we tap away again for the other ones, the invisible tab items, you will see that this is grayed out. And if we tap on it, it's just going to have the accent color, which by default is blue. Okay, let's just add the tab item to the other ones. So the baseball view and the curling view. And let's just copy out baseball and paste it in there. And for the curling, there we go, and paste it in there. Build and run once more, and now we should see those 3 tab items actually. Ready to take your SwiftUI skills to the next level? Join SwiftUI Camp, my popular cohort-based Zoom bootcamp designed to help you master SwiftUI and build real-world iOS apps fast. For a limited time, you can enroll for only $199, but only until May the 7th. Over 4 focused weeks, you will get hands-on instructions, expert mentorship, and a proven framework to boost your confidence, whether you're launching your own app or aiming for the next developer job. Grab your discounted spot now. Link is in the description. There we go. And yeah, this looks really like a tab view, but there are some extra stuff that we can also add in here. Like, for example, a text. So we can add a text right over here, and archery is fine. Let's just have AI fill in the texts for us right over here. You just see, yeah, really nice. So let's build and run. And now, below the images, we will see the text that we just added. Archery, baseball, and curling. Of course, this depends on you, however you'd like to have your tab item bottoms to be. My personal preference is not to use these, but you know, it's all up to you. Now, you might think that these views can be like customized, or we may add other views right over here. That is not the case. We may add only a system named image or a text of whatever we'd like. And please note, this is kind of limited. If you add long text, it will not be, it will not look okay. So please keep in mind, do test all of these. Now, there's another thing that we may add to the tab items, which is really, really nice. Let's just do it right over here on the archery view. It is called the badge. So if we just go badge and just add a count of 10, let's just go, and it will add this badge right over here, which is really, really nice. Let's just see it. There we go, we have 10. Also, you saw the initializer being as an int value, but we can also have it as a string value. So this will have the same effect. As you can see in just a second, there we go, we have 10. And if we remove it, let's just see what happens if we add an empty string right over here. Just wait, there we go, we just have this dot, which in some cases might be the case. And make sure that it's not a long one. Again, we have some size limitations. Usually you just go 99 and then just plus, just like that. I go with a string value because that's more you know, it's more reliable in size, and also it's much more convenient than just using the int values. So that's our badge. Really, really nice, great. And this is how we are going to switch them. But what if I want to start my application with a curling view? Some applications don't start with the leading tab item. Maybe it's the profile right over here or whatever. Let's just start with a curling view. For that, we are going to use finally the selected tab item. As you can see, it's set to 0 and we didn't do anything with it. We want to set the tag to be 2 over here, yes, and tag 1 over here. Let's remove the comma, and then let's just tag the first one with 0. Of course, 0, 1, and 2. Let's just build and run, and now we will not see any changes. And why is that? Well, that's because the default value for the selected tab item is still set to 0. Let's just change this to 2. And let's just see it. And now we should see the curling view appear as the initial tab selected view. Here we go. That's really nice. Of course, having these int values, what is 0, what is 1, what is 2, if you want to add some more, it's a little bit, you know, it's under the hood. So let's make this even more readable. So for that, I'm going to create an enum right over here, and let's just call it tabs. And yeah, int is just perfectly fine. And let's just choose case archery. Well, actually, I'm going to remove the int value because we don't actually need that. We need the tabs, archery. Maybe you do want to add it as the string value. Let's just go with it. So string of type string, And of course, then it's archery, baseball, and curling, which is really nice because then you can just either select it as the text or even in the system image name. I'm not going to go in there. That's fine for now. Okay. So instead of int value, we are going to use the tabs. And here comes the real nice part. So we can just go and add dot and curling. Of course, we need to tag them with this new enum. So tabs dot archery, which is much more readable, as you can see. So tabs dot baseball, and then tabs dot curling. Let's build it and run so we can see that's actually working. Of course, in Logic, we did not change anything, but now your code is much more readable. And of course, you can just switch between these as usual. Okay, that's nice. That's a good step. But what if I actually want to change the tabs inside our views? Let's say it starts on the curling view, and I would want to have a button that changes to the archery view. And that button would be inside the curling view. Now, one way of doing this is to just move the selected tab index into the curling view as a binding. But yeah, this is really a straightforward example. It's inside the curling view. But what if on that tab you just navigate away and then there you want to switch the tabs? Those bindings are kind of really cumbersome, and it's a lot of headache and maintenance. Instead, what we are going to do is just create an environment which we are going to put the selected tab index into. So let me just stop here our project, and let's create a new file, new empty file, app controller. There we go. And let's import SwiftUI. There we go. It will be an observable class. App controller. No, we don't need NS object. And then I'm going to copy out the selected tab index and all of that stuff. So just without the state variable and the private. Of course, it shouldn't be private because, it needs to be accessible. Okay, so now that we have this, we need to enable this throughout the application. So set it up as an environment. We can do that when we are creating our initial view right over here in the app file. So at state private var app controller. There we go. We are going to initialize it. So equals app controller, and then just set it up as an environment. And we're going to use this one with the object and then app controller. App controller. There we go. So now this is available throughout our application, including our content view. So let's just set up our selection for the tab view first. So let's set up our environment right over here at environment app controller.self private var app controller. There we go. So instead of the selected tab index, the state variable, we are going to use this app controller and then dot selected tab index. And then we have kind of this cannot find $ app controller in scope. For that, we need to create a binding. I know it's a little bit cumbersome, but we have the environment right over here. It's not a binding. So we are going to have a bindable var app controller equals app controller. Okay, let's just wait for it. Okay, yeah, Xcode is a little bit slow on this. Let's hit Command B so it compiles, and fingers crossed, it has succeeded. Really nice. So we need to create a bindable out of our app controller. Now we can remove this state variable because, we no longer are using it. And let's grab our environment. Let's go into the curling view and access it. And let's put also a button right over here. So let's create a vertical stack. And then let's create a button for a title and action. Let's just go switch to archery. And then the action would be app controller dot selected tab index, and not one, of course, but dot archery. And it's as simple as that. Let's see this in action. So let's build and run Now we have everything set up. It starts off, and it should start off right over here, yeah, with the curling view. And then if I tap on switch to archery onto the switch to archery button, it's just going to switch right over here programmatically, which is really, really nice. So a lot has been added right over here. It's really nice. This is with the tab view, but there's extra more. So let's take care of our bonus tip on the tab view. So let's go back to our content view. And yeah, this is just fine. It's really nice. But what if I set the tab view style? So there's something called tab view style. And if you hit dot right over here, you will see automatic, page, sidebar, adaptable, and tab bar only. The default one, of course, is the tab bar only. But let's just take a look at this page one. So just type out page, and there is also an index bar display mode. It should be, I don't know why it's not auto-completing. Let's just go with never for now, and let's see what happens if I build and run right over here. So build has succeeded, great. And we should see only the curling view. No tab bar right over here. And even if I tap over here, nothing really appears or just changes. But if I slide back, remember, this is the last item. If I slide back, it's right over here. So it's really nice. It's a paged view. Again, a container view with these three. Really, really great. And also, if you just select, so we just remove the display mode. Let me just set it to always, or just remove the this part, just go for paged. So page, like we had initially. And now, if we, let's just wait this to load. If we click over here, right over here, somewhere here, you will see that the images are right over here. And if I slide, really nice. And you can see we have these images and we can just slide to the appropriate one. Of course, now this is not visible because we have the default background color as the background. But if you set a different color, it will be nicely visible. What if I want to remove this? So let's just remove these tab items. Because, you know, it's using the tab item. Maybe I don't want to use that. And also the badge is, you know, in this case, it's not applicable. It's not going to be shown as you previously have seen. I just wait and see what happens if I remove the tab item. I did. And now we have these nice dots, which is really, really great. And of course, we can still slide. And if I go and switch to archery, it's just going to switch right over there. But in this case, we don't want to actually just switch like this, like just snap onto that. What we want to do is just animate over there. So in this case, in this particular case, we want to set the switch within a with animation. Let me just remove all of this part. And then let's build and run. This is not needed when we have an actual simple tab view because that is already just switching. It should just switch automatically. But here, if you go switch to archery, it's just going to nicely animate. Of course, this is optional. It depends on your use case, but this is really nice to have. So that is tab view and page view and really, really the whole thing that you want to learn about tab views. And if you like these types of tutorials, go ahead and check out SwiftUI Camp, my 4-week mastery bootcamp where you can learn SwiftUI in 4 weeks. Make sure to check out SwiftUI Camp for a discounted price. The link is down in the description.